Look, there are a lot of things that you could criticize CD Projekt Red for on Cyberpunk 2077. The fact that we now know they actively sought to essentially hide the console versions of their game and their many flaws is a biggie. The idea that, however, that's unforgivable, it's probably a little too far. The fact of the matter is, millions of people are enjoying the game. Some people have reported, many people have reported that the bugs aren't really that bad. They aren't really affecting their ability to enjoy the game, and I think that should be acknowledged. That a few bugs here and there, or a crash here and there, isn't necessarily ruining everything for everyone. And I know I got in a bit of trouble with the CD Projekt Red or the Cyberpunk subreddit yesterday, and I thought more about my comments. And I stand by the fact that, somebody decided to push this game out, but essentially CD Projekt Red was in a no-win situation. They probably knew that they had to get this game out. They knew that they couldn't delay the third or fourth or fifth time. Unfortunately, somebody who makes the decision may have been undersold on exactly the amount of work that needed to be done to the game, or maybe somebody just went corporate commander and released the game knowing glitches and all. The important thing here, however, is that they have come out now, apologized. They have vowed to make it right. And I believe CD Projekt Red has earned at least a reasonable amount of wait and see. I believe, it's more of a trust but verify type thing. This is not on the level of Fallout 76. This isn't even on the level of No Man's Sky, as some people have been throwing around, because the bones of the game are good. And if you're playing on a moderately powerful PC, you're experiencing very few glitches and errors. This is the world of PC gaming. Almost every game has some level of glitches and bugs. If you're on a next-gen console, PS5 or Xbox Series X and S, or even Stadia, you're probably having very few errors as well. Now, current gen has issues, but I thought it was funny that game journals, now that all the people have come out and taken the brunt of it, look, there are always going to be diehard fans of a game that can never see any flaws with it. That's why I don't take it personally when, maybe the game subreddit trashes me. All right. That's just the name of the game. That's what happens. Game journalists, though, however, sure took their sweet time coming out to point out the flaws of this game and re-review it to try and capitalize on the current mood, the current backlash of the game. But they didn't have the stones to put in their original reviews that the game was a buggy, broken mess. In fact, IGN gave Cyberpunk 2077 a 100 out of 100, a perfect score, bugs and all. And now they want to come and play both sides of it and act like, well, we're a legitimate game journalism in place on the planet, and we're important. And yes, I took this on base PS4, y'all drama queens. I mean, there are certainly people on the, good thing to take a picture of. There are certainly people on the base PS4 and the Xbox One that are playing it fine. A lot of people are saying turn the filter off, turn motion blur off, and things seem okay. It runs okay on my Xbox Ones, but I can't find any playable mind dancing equipment. A lot of people are saying, hey, look, it plays fine. Obviously, game journalists are going to pick the absolute worst possible way to display the game to make their point. But, you don't get, sorry, IGN, you don't get a lot of credit for coming out now and acting like you care about the truth, that you care about gamers, because you said nothing. IGN gave this game a near perfect score. In fact, I believe they gave it a perfect score. And you don't get to come back around and act like, oh, but we're a legitimate video game journalisming department, and I wonder if they've amended their score. I wanted to just double check in real time. I know for a fact IGN Japan gave it a 100 out of 100. Okay, so let's see. Let's just see how important IGN is, or how. Here's IGN Japan, 100% they gave the game. They didn't say we want to withhold our review either, did they? They didn't say they wanted to withhold the review until they could play on consoles, did they? You don't get to act like you're some serious, serious game journalism place. IGN Italia, 93%. Okay, again, where are the? Here's IGN giving it a 90 out of 100. All right, the idea that they were not happy to receive all the traffic from this in the first place. Look, I thought the game was going to be better than it really is. But when I'm speaking of kind of the overall reaction of the base console, really. There are many people, again, who seem to be fine with it. I'm playing on a TI 2080, and I'm not having any problems. It looks great. Could look better, and I'm looking forward to those patches, which is on why I'm waiting to do kind of my first run playthrough. But IGN cowardly puts out this, this big please don't play Cyberpunk on a base PS4 or Xbox One. It's shockingly bad way to experience in otherwise a fantastic RPG on better hardware. 4 out of 10. I mean, the idea that, Destin is doing some premier journalisming here is hilarious. I mean, people have already pushed back. People have already dealt with the backlash. You coming in now and acting like you're legitimately doing a review on this is hilarious. In my original test on patch 1.02, frame rate dipped into the teens on Xbox One during a key story moment involving combat. And while patch 1.04 promised more stability, it still struggles to maintain 30 FPS, and crashes are still frequent. At best, it will regularly crash the system screen to Xbox One. At worst, it will hard lock your system when you turn it off and turn it on again. Now, this isn't to deny that these errors exist. They do. But you're no hero to come out now and try to act like, well, this is a major problem. We're super upset after you rode the Cyberpunk hype train for the past 5 years. You were all too happy to get your review copies. You were all too happy to upload them to YouTube. You were all too happy to collect all that revenue. And now you come through and complain. Here you see, if we look at the results of this, even of this poll, this says 37.2% of people who answered it said they're getting a refund. On 45,000 votes, that's not an insignificant amount of traffic. That said, CD Projekt Red came out today, or was it yesterday on the conference call, to say that, hey, we're not going to tell people, how many refunds we had to give up. That is not what I want to hear as a shareholder. And I guess I don't know. We know they had 8 million pre-orders roughly. Here's the verdict. They say, if your only option right now is playing Cyberpunk 2077 on either of these base console platforms, I highly suggest you don't play it till its many terrible performance issues are fixed. And if you've already bought it and have an experience similar to what I've described, you should absolutely get a refund if possible. PS4 and Xbox One versions are simply not in an acceptable state, and it makes me sad to think that so many people are having their first Cyberpunk 2077 experience ruined in this way, because when it works, it's a fantastic RPG. What I've played so far of it, I'm really excited to continue to play more. Really excited. And maybe I'll just play it because, to be honest, I thought I was going to delay. I thought I was going to wait a little bit for the upcoming patches, but the first couple of patches here are just for console, and I'm not going to play it on a console. I'm just not. I have it on PC. That's the console I have. I already pre-ordered it on GOG. Now I have the next gen consoles, but I'm not going to buy the game for a second time either. So, I would argue that, IGN is trying to capture on both sides here the hype train, and they were never there to defend it. They tried to, they weren't exactly holding back on the insane amount of Cyberpunk 2077 articles. I mean, if we look at just the Cyberpunk articles IGN has written, I mean, it goes on for pages and pages and pages. By the way, this is just in the last 48 hours, last 72 hours, last 96 hours. I mean, there's innumerable Cyberpunk articles and YouTube videos that they weren't ever really taking a time to be critical about it. They still gave it a 9 and an editor's choice. Easy, IGN. You can't spell ignorant without IGN. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.